Hi everyone, I'm Brinton Sieferman. This is my demonstrative speech about GMOs and the comparison between GMO farming and non-GMO farming. I think it's a very hot topic in the world, and I think there's plenty of knowledge out there for people to understand about what GMOs do for the modern day farmer and what they can do to produce more food for a world that grows substantially every day. In 2012, GMOs grew on about 420 million acres of land in 28 countries worldwide. Since that time, they have ballooned about 50% and next to doubled their amount. People are finally starting to realize that GMOs are essentially the only way we can produce enough food for the ever-growing population of the world. And I understand people's argument about non-GMOs. They're healthier for our food supply per se, I guess. But we have to do something as a farming community to be able to produce enough food for the population that grows. And what GMOs do is they essentially help us produce at a 1.3% rate compared to just a 1% rate. We're producing about 0.3% more crop on every acre through GMOs as we were using non-GMOs. They were introduced into the farming world in 1997, and in the last 20 years they have absolutely ballooned, and people are finally starting to realize the full effect of using GMOs in their operation. They were essentially created to help the farmers out and allow them to produce more product on a smaller parcel of land. Just like the population growth, the amount of arable land in the United States, and not just the United States but worldwide, is decreasing tremendously as the population grows, because we have to urbanize more and find more land and more parcels of land to build facilities and homes on to accommodate all the people that live in the world. The main purpose of GMOs, like I said, it is to produce more. They're genetically modified organisms that are completely different from non-GMOs in terms of the way they're built, the way they grow. The amount of nutrients it takes to grow a GMO compared to a non-GMO is a lot less. They do take a shot more chemical than a non-GMO, and that goes hand in hand to why people don't understand and don't want people to use GMOs, because they think that we have to use more chemical and we have to do this and we have to do that, and it's not as healthy for our American food supply or our worldwide food supply. But what we have to understand is there's no other way to produce enough crops in the world to feed the population than using genetically modified organisms. I think as farmers we need to do a good bit different in terms of making sure that people outside of the farming community, making sure that people, the consumers, understand the purpose and the real purpose behind why farmers use them. We have to be advocates for agriculture and advocates for GMOs, and not everybody's going to agree. Not everybody wants to use GMOs, but we have to be able to use them in a commercial setting, because like I said, that's the only way to get enough food produced for the population that grows at a rapid rate every day. What's the best way to go about this topic? I'm not really sure. I mean, I would say that we have to be steady and we have to be constant and we have to be persistent in terms of approaching people about GMOs and approaching people about the positive effects of GMOs and what they will do in a long-term setting. Like I said, in 1997, we had about 430 million acres of GMOs, and that number has next to doubled in the last 20 years, and people, farmers, are starting to realize the positive effects and starting to push out the negative effects and negative comments from all kinds of people. We just have to sit back and say, is there any other way that we can produce enough food in this country? And that answer to me is no. There's no other way we can get that done. What are the three main purposes of farmers using them? I would say 1, they're easier to grow. I would say 2, they, like I said before, they produce more per acre than a non-GMO or non-genetically modified plant at all. I mean, we're not just talking about corn and beans. We're talking about there's GMO seed for a lot of things in the world and a lot of food products in the world, but obviously corn is the most popular, and we have to make sure people understand that it's not just row crop farmers, it's people all over the world that are using them. What is the worst comment? What is the negative effects from the consumers? And I understand that they think that GMOs are unhealthy because we have modified the genetics behind them. There's more chemical that goes into growing them, and I understand that. But at the same time, there is no other way to produce enough food in this country. And those people that have negative comments, have negative effects, there's no other way we can do it the healthy way, the way they want it done, and produce enough food for the country. And it's not just the United States. It's all over the world. It's everybody using GMOs. It's not just people in the United States. Like I said, in 2012, it was 430 million acres in 28 different countries. And today, that number has ballooned by 50%. Over the past 17 years, 20 years, whatever, millions of farmers have planted and replanted GMOs. And now we're up to a worldwide about 3.7 billion acres of land, and that is about 50% of the total land mass of the United States. And that to me shows that there is full belief and full strength from the farmers, from the producers, that we have to do this. We have to genetically modify these organisms to produce enough food. And to me, there's so many advantages that the American farmer or the worldwide farmer producer has to using GMOs. But when it all settles, when the dust settles at the end of the day, there's only one that really sticks out, and it's about how much product we produce. There's a worldwide population that grows tremendously every day, but the biggest problem is we are growing the world population at a astronomically number compared to the amount of food we're producing.